All right, welcome to the channel. This is going to be the first video that's going up on my new channel. Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm going to be uploading this on Christmas Eve. I'm recording this the day before Christmas. So I was trying to figure out what to do for the first video. Obviously, I want to do the podcast, but unfortunately, I'm still trying to find a good time to meet with Robbie to do the first episode, or, and to meet with other people to do other episodes. So that's still on the halt. But I still wanted to do something new. So I'm actually going to be doing a reaction video. So this is kind of cool. I've always wanted to do reaction videos, but I never got a chance to do them, or I never tried it out for whatever reasons. But I'm here, and I'm going to do a reaction video to some Yu-Gi-Oh content on YouTube. So this is a video from Enigma. From Enigma. He does cool videos. Hold on, let me go to his channel real quick. But yeah, so this is Enigma right here. He does great content. He has some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on there too, and other stuff. So there's definitely a lot of content I could definitely react to and give my thoughts on. I've watched a couple of them in the past, so I could definitely rewatch them and give my thoughts on them as well. But I thought this would be cool and fun. React to someone else's content for the first time, and also just give my thoughts as well, to see what I agree with, what I don't agree with, and just to see what other people think about Yu-Gi-Oh and their opinions on everything. And I want to have more Yu-Gi-Oh related discussions moving forward on this channel. Especially, I want to be able to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh more and give my thoughts and opinions on different things. This is good because this will give me an opportunity to do that as well. So let me know at the end, if you want me to react to any other specific content. I know there's some Chaz related videos that I want to react to, so I'm excited to do that because there's some polarizing thoughts on Chaz's character and as a duelist and all that. So I do want to get into that too, but I thought I'd start with this. So this is called I Watched Every Yu-Gi-Oh series. It's a tier list that Enigma made. He said he finally watched all the Yu-Gi-Oh series. I'm assuming that includes sevens as well. We'll see how this goes. He seems like a cool guy from the videos that I've listened to. Hopefully, Sevens doesn't get trashed just because it's not original Yu-Gi-Oh to a lot of people. But we'll see. I don't really know. But I'm excited to listen, to see what I agree with, what I don't agree with. And this isn't to, pick his video apart or anything like that. It's just for fun. But it also, just like I said, allows me to share my thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh as well, some thoughts that maybe you guys don't know, so yeah, let's just do it, let's just hop into it, have some discussions, and let me know what videos you guys want me to react to in the future if you liked it. This is a decently long video, 24 minutes, so I don't know how long this video will be. There'll be certain moments where I will pause it in order to commentate and stuff like that as well. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. My first time, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if it's going to flow super smoothly, but we'll see how it goes. Subscribe to Enigma. He has some great content. Oh, I'm not even subscribed to him. Let me subscribe to him right there so you guys can see. I just subscribed right now. I've watched a few of some of his content, and it's been really good so far. And this video right here, if you guys can see it right here, right above my head, it's called the Yu-Gi-Oh remake that nobody knows. I've already heard this video. I heard this a couple months ago. This was 5 months ago. It was a great video. I could re-listen to it, but it's super long, so I might have to do that in parts. It's an hour long, so I might have to do that in parts. But anyway, enough yapping. Let's just hop into it. Let's see how he ranks all the Yu-Gi-Oh series and why.
I've finally seen every single Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and now I am going to rank them on a tier list as I promised many years ago. To make things more fun, we'll be ranking every story arc rather than just the series as a whole. This approach should give my final ranking at the end of the video more context so that it's easier to understand why I like which one's the most and which one's the least.
Okay, so he's going to rank,
make sure we're on the same page.
He's going to rank each of them separately, each of the arcs separately, and then I guess kind of add up the sum together to decide where each one ranks. That way it's a little bit more detailed.
I had not seen anything beyond Duel Monsters at the time. But now that I've seen every series in its entirety, I've realized that I don't always agree with those definitions. Zexal, for example, while broken up into 6 arcs on the Wikia page, really only has 2 main parts. There's the World Duel Carnival and the Barian Invasion. So I'll be using
Pretty
my own
simple.
judgment for this video. I'm also going to try my best to avoid major spoilers. I'm going to give a brief synopsis of each arc just so that people understand which part of the show I'm talking about, but I don't want to ruin anything for people who are still planning to watch some of the later Yu-Gi-Oh series. And one last thing,
really
before
nice.
we get
It's
into
very
the tier list,
respectable.
this video
No
is
spoilers.
sponsored by Raycon.
All right, he's gonna talk about Raycon right now. That's his ad. But yeah, basically, it's really cool that he decided to go and watch all of them. Like he said, he only watched Duel Monsters, so it's kind of cool that he decided to just go and watch all of them, give them all a chance from beginning to end. I think that's really respectable. A lot of people don't do that. You know, they'll pick and choose, but I think it's cool that he actually, you know, decided to sit there and watch all of it. And it seems like he did sevens as well, so that's going to be awesome. So I'm curious to see what he says on sevens and Rush Dueling as a whole. You know, I don't expect much just because, you know, Rush Duels is, you know, very new. And, you know, it's not very loved by many people. It is loved by many people, but not, you know, maybe not so much in America. You know, a lot of people don't know where to watch it too, but we'll see where sevens lies. You know, I don't expect GX to be very high, but you know, I don't know how if this list is going to be very personal, like what his personal favorites are, or if it's like more analytical. But we'll see.
I'll save Season 0 for the end since it's less familiar to most viewers, even though technically
Season 0's
it did
at the
come
end.
first. Also, I'll be talking about the Japanese version of every single arc because 4Kids made a lot of changes to the story when making the English dub. Duelist Kingdom. I love this arc. It's the tournament that was hosted by Maximilian Pegasus.
This is the start.
It's not just a card game tournament. It's the gateway to a battle where Yugi must fight to save his grandfather's soul while Kaiba and Mokuba struggle to retain their family company. Duelist Kingdom holds a special place in my heart, which is why it's easily one of my favorites. I'll admit there's some nostalgia bias at play here. This is the arc that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's a bit messy, but it's a nostalgic arc, and it is good. It's a good arc.
The battles are extremely chaotic, especially when you're watching it after already.
The duels were insane. They made no sense.
Duelist Kingdom shine is the
but
story.
they were fun to watch.
In episode 1,
it was nonsense though.
Schemes that threaten Yugi's loved ones. The plot stitches together all the absurdities. Even with its flaws, this arc has a lot of depth, and nostalgia is on its side. It lands in B tier.
Okay, B tier arc. I would agree with that.
Filler, and it is the
it's a solid arc despite all the weird rules.
Kaiba gets trapped in a video game, so Mokuba recruits
or
Yugi
not
and his
rules,
friends
I
to help
should say.
rescue him.
Lack
I know
of
that's
rules.
the exact same premise, very similar to the premise of Duelist Kingdom, but it doesn't play out the same at all. There are barely any duels, and that's partly because it's so short, mainly because it does not take place in the typical game format. The characters are trapped in a video
Quest,
game
yeah.
that is like
that was a
an
fun
RPG.
little side filler
In
arc.
fact, it's a lot like this game.
I don't
which
mind
believe
filler
it
arcs
actually
personally. I
inspired,
just find it
called
enjoyable to
Yu-Gi-Oh!
see
The
different
False Bound
aspects.
Kingdom. It was a GameCube exclusive, so not a lot of people have played it. GameCube was not a popular console.
Pegasus was a good
streaming this
villain, so
game,
I
but
understand
that's beside the point.
it going to
I'm
B
putting
tier.
Duel Monsters Quest in C tier.
Okay,
it's way
that's
too
fair.
short, and I don't like the fact that Kaiba gets captured in the beginning in a way that's incredibly stupid. If it were longer, I'd put it higher because I love when the series branches out from the typical way that cards are used in the story.
Yep.
Next up is Dungeon
I like it when they
Dice
explore different
Monsters.
ideas like
In
this,
arc,
Dungeon Dice
Yugi
Monsters. I
battles
like
a game developer
different
in a new
ideas.
game involving dice rather than cards. Again, I love it when they go away from the regular Yu-Gi-Oh card game.
Yep,
It's not that
absolutely.
I dislike the regular card game. I just think it's cool
I love
when they take a
Yu-Gi-Oh, and I
break
love
from
it when
and
it's
then they
explored
have
in
the
other
series
ways.
focus on another game. Unfortunately, I gotta put it in C tier. It
Okay.
has the same problem as Duel Monsters Quest. Really cool idea, just extremely short. This one I think is only one episode longer. Now it's time to talk about Battle
Okay,
City,
yeah, it could have
one of
been
the
longer.
longest arcs. This
But I
might
think it's
actually
fine
be
for a
the
little
longest
side
arc
arc
in
personally,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
but I understand
We've
it
got
being in
both
C.
parts
It's
as
not
well, which
super
I
long,
am.
not a lot to
This
go
arc
on.
is so good that it's part of the reason Duelist Kingdom
Battle
doesn't
City,
get
baby.
enough credit.
Yes.
It's like a refined version of the same concept. I mean, Pegasus, in my opinion, is the better villain over Merrick. But
Okay.
almost everything else.
That's.
in
I mean,
Battle
he
City,
was great. He
pretty
was a
much
great
everything
villain. I
else
get it.
is better in Battle City than Duelist Kingdom.
Merrick was
The
crazy
anti-rule,
though.
which
Very
adds palpable
manipulative.
tension,
Well, I mean,
especially with
all
the
villains are
addition
kind
of
of
the God
manipulative.
cards.
Most of them.
The duels have a coherent set of rules. Joey has this insane journey.
Rules
through the
are
arc
better
where
in
he
Battle
distances
City.
himself from all of his
They
other
make
friends.
more
He's like,
sense.
I'm tired of relying on you guys. It's time to
There's
become
not
the main
as much
character." And then
nonsense.
he nearly accomplishes that. Not to spoil anything, I kind of just did, but everybody's seen Battle City. I made a whole video about this specific part of Battle City, so check that
Yeah,
out.
Joey versus Yugi. We
Battle
never
City
got
is
to
an
see it,
undeniable S tier. I'm
and
definitely
we
gonna
don't
make
know
another video about it
who
because
won,
my
but
last one,
you
I
know.
just didn't cover enough of what's actually good about it. Next up is Virtual
I would hope
World.
Yugi wins, but
Basically,
hey, I get
Yugi
it.
and his friends are trapped in a digital realm by ex-Kaiba
Yeah, S tier for
executives.
Battle City makes
I'm gonna
sense.
put
It's
this
the
arc
most
in B tier
iconic arc in all
because
of
I like the way
Yu-Gi-Oh!
it's executed. I like
The
the
Noah
idea
arc is
of
underrated.
ex-Kaiba
It's
Corp
definitely
executives
underrated. I
coming
get that
after
the Big
Kaiba
Five
just
is
for
kind of
revenge for
trash
things that he's done as the CEO.
to a
I
lot
think
of
it's pretty
people,
funny,
but
and
I
also
thought
it's something that I believe
the
would actually
relationship. Let me pause it real quick. I thought the relationship between Noah, the Kaiba family relationship was very interesting. I loved all the backstory, with his stepbrother and his father and everything. I just thought it was all well done. They really explored Kaiba's character. The only problem is, obviously, at the end, they couldn't give him the win against Noah, and they gave it to Atem. That was a huge mistake. This was literally Kaiba's arc. There was no reason for anything else other than Kaiba screen time here. Like, this is ridiculous, but whatever. It is what it is. But it is a good arc. It deserves to be in B tier. Definitely underrated. There's some goofy stuff in there. Not every duel is important. I get that, but I don't know. I just the backstory with Kaiba, Mokuba, Noah, Gosaboro, Kaiba, and he did get to at least beat Gotoboro. Gotoboro. I think that's how you say it. At least he got to defeat his stepfather at the end, himself, which is cool, and he got to defeat like a dark version of Exodia, which is good because he didn't get to beat Exodia against Yugi or Atem. But yeah, underrated arc. I like this arc.
I also like the way that they expanded on Kaiba's backstory from the manga and made it into a whole story arc. The only real issue is the timing, since it interrupts Battle City right before
that's the big
finale.
problem.
Whose
Interrupts the big tournament arc. That was bad.
Catching up to the
They
manga.
could have just done it right after.
Next up, Waking the Dragons.
I like Waking the Dragons.
This is an arc that I like a lot.
I like it a lot.
Right after Battle City, Yugi uses the
Some
God card
iconic
to try and
moments
unlock
in this-
memories
in
of the
this one.
Pharaoh, but instead, he triggers an ancient group who feeds on despair. I made an entire video praising this arc, so it shouldn't come as a surprise when I say this, but I love this arc. It has some of the best characters. The new characters, the
does have good characters,
are awesome. The only one I don't like is Darts. That's pretty much the only drawback for the arc. But the journey that the heroes go on is incredible. I love the themes in the arc. I love the way they separate the main characters. Joey basically gets his own God card in this
Finally,
arc,
Joey
and then
gets
he
some
into a
love
battle
and
where he has
respect,
a
and he gets his
fist
own
fight with
dragon.
somebody as
And a
part
sick
of the
duel with Valen. Oh, that
Raphael
duel's
might be my
just so
favorite
memorable.
villain in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I wish he wasn't a minion and he was the actual main guy.
Bro,
If that were
Raphael
the case, then this would be
Raphael
an
was
S tier
incredible.
arc. But
He
Darks
actually
kinda
defeated
holds
Atem
back,
for the
so
first
I'm gonna have to
time,
put this arc,
and then he went
Waking
through
the
a whole
Dragons,
arc.
in A tier.
Okay,
Next
that's
up, we
fair.
have
I respect
Grand
that. That's fair.
Championship.
Wow. It
This
went
arc
above
is pretty
Duelist Kingdom too.
straightforward.
That's fair.
Kaiba hosts a tournament
I'm fine
called
with that. I like
Kaiba
that.
Corporation
It's
Grand
underrated.
Championship, and a business rival tries to sabotage the event. All I can really say is we did not need another tournament arc.
This is
At
probably
least this
going to
time
go
it's
in
a short one,
in
and I
either
did
B or C
somewhat
tier.
enjoy it,
Probably
but nothing really
C.
happens. It doesn't really mean anything.
It's probably
I'm
going to
put
go
it
in C.
D tier.
Watch.
It's
Oh,
probably
D
the
tier.
worst time
Wow.
to do a
That bad?
Monsters.
Okay.
All right, Millennium
I get it. It's
World.
kinda
We
pointless.
finally made it to the end.
There
We
was
had
some
counting
weird
the
stuff
final
in
duel
there,
as
but
part of
it was still
Millennium
fun.
World.
But yeah,
And
I get
this
it.
is where the series sort of turns inward. Yugi and his friends go into the
I like
Pharaoh's
Millennium
past
World
to
arc.
uncover
It was
his
less
purpose
focused on
and the
duels, but
true
more
story
focused on the
behind
past and
Millennium
the.
items.
I loved
It's a
all
tale
the
drenched
lore. It
in
was
ancient
incredible.
rituals,
Like I like
betrayal,
Millennium
and the
World a
echo
lot.
of a once glorious kingdom on the brink of obliteration. While it has a promising start, the execution falls extremely short. The story focuses on the pharaoh as he travels back in time, but there's a twist, which I guess this is a spoiler. I kind of have to spoil this, so skip ahead if you don't want to know what happens. But they don't actually go back in time. Instead, it's a shadow game orchestrated by Bakura.
Yeah.
This arc essentially revisits the old Monster World story from the manga, but with higher stakes. The author admitted to cutting it short due to waning popularity, and boy does it show. The twist needed way more build-up, and Bakura's only win before the...
I personally really liked the twist. I thought it was cool. I didn't mind it, but it does undercut his backstory, Atem's backstory, because now we finally get to see his backstory from the past, but it's not really the real like backstory, right? It's an altered version of that backstory, so it's not like we don't really get to see. That's my biggest complaint with season 5. Like, it was all cool. I loved all the lore and stuff, but like a lot of stuff was rewritten in that shadow game, so we don't really get to see how things actually played out. We don't get to see his actual memories. We get to see this altered version in this, dark, Yami game or whatever. And that was just a huge disservice, personally. I think it sucks because it's like, all right, we know his past kind of, but not really. Like, we know parts of it, but like it didn't really play out that way, so it is what it is. But it was still an incredible arc. But yeah, I agree. It was definitely messy, but I like the twist. It was definitely different and unexpected. I didn't see that coming either, but it was sick. It was a sick arc. I really like it. I would give it an. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would probably give it an A tier.
Arc was Bones. How am I supposed to take him seriously as a final villain when I know it was set up? We saw Bakura in every arc, but we saw him lose in every arc. The only time he wins is
that's
against
true.
Bones.
He lost a lot.
I don't even remember if that duel happened on screen.
He was hardly
or not,
threatening
and
because he just
Bones
kept
was
losing
the first
all the
person
time.
to lose to Joey without Yugi's help. Sadly, I gotta put Millennium World in the D tier.
Wow. I think it was a good arc. I had fun. I'll stick with my A ranking, or A or high B.
And the first arc of GX is the 7 stars. Jade and Yuki's story begins at Duel Academy.
GX,
He's
baby.
just a laid-back, duel-loving student. But soon he discovers that.
All right, so GX is the show that brought me back to Yu-Gi-Oh, because I had quit Yu-Gi-Oh near the end, watching reruns of DM. I eventually got bored, and I just completely walked away from Yu-Gi-Oh, put my cards away. And then GX came back. It was on Toonami. I didn't want to watch it, but there was nothing else to watch. So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And then I watched GX, and I was like, all right, this was kind of cool. Episode 3 versus Alexis. He summoned Thunder Giant. Classic duel. Classic moment. And I've been watching ever since. And, I never hopped off Yu-Gi-Oh after that. So GX literally is the only reason why I'm even still watching, playing, and now editing and making videos for YouTube. Like, I'm here because of Jaden and GX. So yeah, it holds a special place in my heart. I know GX has lots of flaws though. I love it to death, but I'm aware of its flaws. But yeah, so, and I love season 1 because I love all the character building. Like, I love all the slice of life stuff and building the relationships with the characters. I love all that stuff. That's why I really love season 1. It was a lot of fun. I don't mind that it wasn't like super serious until the Sacred Beast arc, and even that was kind of goofy. But I personally love season 1. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You get to know the characters a lot. You get to see their chemistry being built, and there's a lot of gold in there for me personally. But hey, a lot of people don't agree. It is what it is.
Beneath the lighthearted competitions lie a conspiracy involving the Sacred Beasts, ancient entities sealed within the Academy. This arc is a mixed bag. The first half is pure slice of life fun, with Yu-Gi-Oh acting as the backdrop to a school experience. Something I can't help but find relatable. I mean, growing up, my friends and I would duel at school, so seeing this on screen had a certain charm. It's funny because this is the very reason I enjoy GX today, but back when I was a kid, I hated GX. I thought, why are they combining school with my favorite pastime?
Well,
I
that's
didn't
ironic.
understand it, and now I think that's awesome because that's where I had the best memories with Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of my best school memories were with Yu-Gi-Oh! The second half isn't bad, it's just kind of okay. They start to make things more serious. The Shadow Games return. There's a group trying to collect the Sacred Beasts, which are basically the God cards at home. I'm putting the 7
the
stars
rip-offs.
in B.
But I like the
Next up, we
Sacred
have
Beast
the
a lot,
Society of
actually.
Light arc. Life at Duel Academy takes
Society
a
of
turn
Light?
when a cult called the Society of Light starts recruiting tons of students under its banner. Jaden battles not
So wait,
only
where did he put that? Where did he put the ranking for that?
Home. I'm putting the 7 stars in B tier. Next up,
Wow. Well, actually, he put it in A tier by accident, but he said B tier. I would agree with that. I think it's underrated. People hate season 1 of GX, but season 1 was fun, and it was the foundation of GX, and it's just I don't know how you can hate it, but I get it. Whatever, they want more serious Yu-Gi-Oh, and that was more goofy and fun and random, and they wanted more focus, and I get that, but whatever. It's a good arc. It's fun. It's fun to watch. A lot of goofy stuff. So, yeah, I think B tier is a solid score.
have the Society of Light arc. Life at Duel Academy takes a turn when a cult called the Society of Light starts recruiting tons of students under its banner. Jaden battles not only with cards, but against manipulation and destiny. Oh, and there's a tournament. This arc's even more of a mixed bag. It has great potential. The tournament was actually good. I started to get tired of tournament arcs after Battle City. But this one was actually interesting because they have some great
Hellkaiser
character
being born.
dynamics. Zane's character arc in particular is incredible. Funny enough, what I don't like is how much it directly references Battle City. Sartorius, the leader of the cult, is way too similar to Merrick. He has a split personality and a bunch of minions.
Okay, I guess I could see that. I didn't connect those two things, but that makes sense.
There are some standout moments, but I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Next is the Dimension World arc. Jaden's journey turns personal.
I put it C, low B.
To interdimensional danger.
It was fun.
This time he must
There's a lot of
face
cool
twisted
moments.
versions of himself. GX is just
Dimension
very
World arc, though.
consistently inconsistent because this is another arc where
it's good.
I love half of it and then I really dislike the other half. The first half is awesome. There's a new teacher.
Oh, he
with
hates
this
the
military
second
style
half.
of
Interesting.
teaching. He forces students to duel as often as possible, but then it turns out he has a plan to harvest energy for some secret project. I'm not going to spoil it, but the payoff is really cool. In fact, I actually made a video about this, so you could just check that out if you really want to know. I like the second half too, where they go into another dimension, and it's like the monster dimension, but the ending is just so bad. And
really?
The isn't great either. I'm still going to put it in B tier. It might be a little too high.
The ending is bad? That's the part that everyone loved the most about Season 3. Wow.
That would be an S tier. The first half is just that good. But I'm not going to do that because with GX, every school year is a single arc. This is the third school year, so I'm going to treat it as one single arc. And finally for GX, we have...
He hated the Supreme King, like Yubel stuff a lot. More so than the first. The first half he liked more. Interesting. Because that's where everyone else was like... Well, from what I've heard, most people were more hooked on, the second half of that first part. So, all right, that's different. That's different. I respect that. I respect his opinion. Where did he put it? I think he put it... Did he put it in C? Did he put it in C? Yeah, I think he... No, he put it in B. He put it in B, underneath the Noah arc. Man, I disagree with that. I would put that in A tier. I would put that in A tier. A tier arc, for sure. Memorable in GX, for sure.
Darkness arc. This one never received an English dub, so some of you might not even know about it, but it's honestly the best arc in all of GX. Unlike the other arcs in GX, it maintains a consistent tone throughout the entire
second best to Season 3 or first best.
For graduation and their transition to the real world, they face
Season 4 was good. It was short, but it was very good.
I won't spoil it, but it's fantastic storytelling. Darkness is going in A tier.
Okay, that's fair. I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's move on to Yu-Gi-Oh!
5Ds, baby.
Second spinoff.
Going to 5Ds.
It's basically a tournament arc where they're riding on motorcycles while they duel. Hard to really explain it any further than that without spoiling. It's actually really good. It stands out because
it's really good.
5Ds
Really
good world building, especially in this arc. And the rivalry
fantastic
between
world
Jack and
building.
Yusei is
Better than all the
good.
other ones next to
A
Zale, maybe.
Okay, next is Dark Signers. This arc is awesome because it flips the series, which was already pretty dark, into even darker territory.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything because I really want people to go and watch these arcs. And if you've already seen it, you don't need me to recap.
Yeah, it's hard not to spoil it because there's so much that happens.
Entire Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. It has everything. There are
everybody loves the second part of Season 1 of 5Ds, the Dark Side arc. It was solid, obviously.
There's a small issue involving Akiza, but it's still an S tier arc. There's
Hey,
no
fair.
question about it.
Yeah, I could see that. It's not a personal favorite of mine, but I do agree it's S tier quality. S or A tier quality. This might be a hot take, but I actually love the second half of 5Ds more than the first. That's my hot take. It is what it is. I have a lot more fun with it. Maybe I'll do a separate video kind of explaining more in detail as to why I love the second half more. But I do agree that the first half is better written, well written, much better written than the second half, obviously. And the story was supposed to end, supposedly, from what I heard, at the end of Season 1. And it was supposed to end there, and that would have been a perfect finale ending. So I do agree that Signer's arc is better written and probably deserves to be better, but in my heart I actually love the WRGP arc, the whole thing, WRGP on and moving on. The second half, love so much. But that's me. That's my personal opinion. Some of you may disagree, but I'll discuss it another time.
Definitely, it's the worst arc in 5Ds. It might be the worst arc in the entire franchise.
Wow.
I mean, a big part of that is because it follows right after Dark Signers, and it's just so much worse. But this
it's a decline because, we go from, end of the world, this and that, and now they're kind of just like, the world is at peace. They're more relaxed. And, now him and his friends are just going to join a tournament, kind of preparing for it and stuff like that. And I like that. That's what I like about it, because now we get to see the characters be more grounded, be more real, and just like kind of talk to each other and hang out and have a goal and work on stuff together and kind of just live a normal life. And that's what I like about it, because now that the characters have already gone through the hell of the Dark Signers and they got united, now we can see them interact with each other and their relationship. So I kind of got into it now. I can go more into detail in the future, but that's what I like about it. I've rewatched this so many times because I just like it. I don't have a problem with it. But hey, to each their own. It is what it is. People like more intense story-driven stuff, and when it's more slice of life stuff, people don't enjoy it, which is weird because he liked the slice of life of GX, but not the slice of life of this. But hey, it's fine. It's fine. 5Ds is a great story, so we'll see how he likes the future arcs. Maybe he likes the other ones more. Maybe he likes the Zone arc better. We'll see.
Pacing is terrible. It feels like more than half of this arc is filler, but there's no filler because it's not based on a manga. It's just a bunch of random stuff happening. There's
a lot of random stuff happening, but it's like GX.
But I don't even care about the villains. None of it matters, and I'm gonna have to put this in F tier. All right,
wow.
So Crash Town actually takes place.
Wow, F tier is crazy, but I mean, it makes sense. He hates it a lot. He thinks it's horrible. I disagree. I would probably put the beginning section of that in B tier. Yeah, probably B tier, maybe low B tier. I would probably put that entire section low B tier because it kind of builds everything up. Crash Town is an A tier, if not an S tier. For that mini arc. Oh, beautiful mini arc. Everybody loves that
in
arc.
The middle of the World Racing Grand Prix. I think it's in the first half. And I know that kind of makes it seem like it's part of the World Racing Grand Prix, but this arc has nothing to do with the World Racing Grand Prix. It's like 9
it's a separate
episodes
side
that
arc.
Have nothing to do with it and are its own contained
and it
story.
Continues kind of the Dark Signer
like
stuff.
Basically, Yusei gets caught up in a turf war set in a Western-style cowboy town designated for mining precious metals. I'm putting this arc in B tier. It's extremely short compared to the other arcs, which is the main reason.
It's a mini side arc, that's why.
A or even S. This arc
but
is just
it's
really
good.
Cool. Somehow
it's
it fits
cool.
well with the motorcycle theme of 5Ds, even though it's the Wild West. And I wish
Wild
they
West
would do
theme
more
was
stuff
awesome.
like this in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I love it.
The final arc of 5Ds, Arc Cradle, focuses on a mysterious figure intent on rewriting history.
Okay, let's see what he
The
thinks of
survival
this.
Humanity versus the ethical dilemma of saving the future at the cost of today. I don't like this arc. I know a lot of people think it's a good arc based on the comments I got on my last 5Ds video, but there are so many inconsistencies.
There are.
For one, it's
there
a
are,
time
to
travel
be fair.
story, and those stories always contradict themselves, like super obviously.
It's so true. Dude, time travel is so hard to do correctly. So hard to do correctly, man. It just messes things up a lot. It's very hard to do the right way. And the more like themes you want to explore and cool stuff you want to do, the harder it is for you to have to explain everything. But yeah, time travel's so hard to pull off correctly. It's so hard, man. But yeah. I think it seems so far from his tone like he might like this a little better than the first half, before the Crash Town stuff. So he might put this in like C tier or D tier. I could see him that. I don't think he'll put it in F tier, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not going to go into specifics because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's easy to poke holes in the plot. The other big inconsistency is the villains in this arc. For some reason, they're supposed to be heroes. They're trying to rewrite history to save the future, but they act like villains the whole time. They're taunting their opponents. You will feel nothing but despair. Hope is nothing but an illusion. Who talks like that when they're the hero? Aren't they traveling?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the villains. There's a lot of villains that kind of talk that way. They kind of, it's weird because, like, they're trying to do the right thing, but, yeah, they kind of do that. I don't know. Villains do that a lot. But because they're like expressing their despair, and it's like, oh, you're gonna experience despair. I agree, that's kind of like messed up. But I mean, that's why they're the villain. Like, it's a little complicated, and they've been through. Like, I could imagine going through all that, seeing the whole world end, and you being just so like your mental state must be screwed, completely destroyed, and you know, you trying to like you taunting the despair. Like, it kind of makes sense to me because I mean, you kind of have to be at that crazy mental state. So for that, you would have to put yourself in their shoes and be like, you know, in our mind, it doesn't make any sense. But like, I could see myself if I'm in their shoes, like, kind of going in that direction. You lose kind of your mind and your sanity and your morality a bit, and you're like, oh man, screw this. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely not impossible to like go down that train of thought. But yeah, I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying.
I mean, their plan to save the future contradicts itself. Maybe that's why they're so hopeless. Our Cradle is going in C tier.
Okay, I had it right.
Next
C or D,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
so
Zexal.
C tier.
We're starting with the World Duel Carnival.
All right, Zale.
If you've seen my deep dive into Zexal,
Yes.
you already know why this arc is awesome.
Yes, thank you. Finally, we're going to see some Zale love. I might watch that video in the future. Let me know if you guys want to see it. Like the video, comment. Let me know that you guys want to see it, and I'll review the freaking 1 hour video over here. That's gonna. I might have to do that in parts though, because that's crazy. But Zale is incredible. It doesn't get appreciated enough, and it needs so much more love because it's such a good, well-written series. Oh, I love Zale. All right, whatever. You know, people look at the Yuma's goofy design and hate on stupid aspects of the show instead of focusing on the amazing storytelling of Zale. But anyway, enough. Let's see what he has to say about Zale.
The World Duel Carnival is basically
Great
Duel's
arc.
Kingdom plus Battle City, except it's only the best elements, and there's even more on top of that. It's easily the best tournament arc in the entire franchise. I'm putting it in S tier.
I wish he could go into more detail because he's trying not to spoil it. But there's so much freaking rich goodness in that first arc too. The whole show really, but oh my gosh, there's so much richness in there. He didn't get into detail with it, but there's just so much. But he did have another video where he went in depth with it. So, yeah. Go watch that if you haven't, or if you want to see me react to it, let me know. But, so much richness in there. It's so hard to just like skip over it. But what did he put? He put it in A tier or S tier? What did he put it in? In
the entire franchise, I'm putting it in S tier.
S tier. See. And that's only the first arc. Imagine the Barian Invasion arc. That's going in S tier. There should be an SS tier because that's literally the best arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. But let's see if he agrees.
It's the Barian Invasion arc, and I'm putting this in S tier too.
Yeah.
This arc is basically a remake of the Millennium World arc from Duel Monsters. So
but better.
Again, it's a sort of a remake, but it has all
yes,
the best
the whole Zale is a remake of the original Yu-Gi-Oh, but done better, more defined, more well written, just so much better
stuff. Even though it's technically a remake, it's not officially a remake, but it's so obvious that they were trying to redo something they'd already done. They took all the stuff that was unfinished about the first arc, then brought it to its natural conclusion, and it's just so well done. The Barian Invasion is an easy S tier.
Yes. See, look at that. All of Zale made it to S tier. So the people who just don't want to watch Zale or just trash it for stupid reasons that have nothing to do with it and don't even finish the show, guys, watch Zale. Stop playing. That's an S tier show. S tier show. S tier show, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. You can hate Yuma all you want. All right, there's other aspects of the show than just the main character. So many other aspects. So just watch it if you don't like Yuma. I don't know how you cannot love Yuma, but I can see it. Fine. But, like, there's Shark. There's Kaito. There's the Barians. There's the Arclight brothers. There's Tron. There's everything. Like, there's so much, man. There's so much. You're missing out. You have no idea what you're missing, man. You're trashing the show. You got to watch it. It's stupid. Stop playing around, guys. Come on.
An hour-long
You're missing peak Yu-Gi-Oh.
Awesome. Check that out if you haven't seen it already. I mean, if you're not convinced after watching that video that you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
Talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, starting with the Arc.
Let me see. Wait, is the quality still? Did it go down? All right, we're good. All right, we're getting to Arc 5. So this is kind of a mixed bag series. Started off really strong, fell off near the second half and in the middle all the way through, whatever. But I still had a lot of fun with this show. A lot of stuff I love about it, and there's a lot of stuff that I did not love about it because it went the wrong way. But it started off strong, so the first arc I could see him putting it somewhere in B or A tier, and then we'll see the rest from there.
This arc is decent. It's basically a tournament arc featuring some cool ideas, like action duels. I like action duels because they make battles feel more like Pokemon battles. You can interact with the monsters, and your opponent can like grab cards and dodge your attacks, and vice versa. It's nothing too special, but it can be fun sometimes.
It is fun.
Not bad. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Next up is the Friendship Cup arc, and this.
He barely even talked about the. Wow. He didn't even. He literally is trying not to spoil anything, but I feel like that's literally like the action duels are. Oh man, I feel like he should have mentioned so much more. I mean, there's the tournament and stuff, and I felt like he didn't really talk about that's like the best part of arc 5 is the tournament arc. It didn't finish, but like that whole thing that happened with the invasion and everything. He really did not get into detail with arc 5 there, and that's kind of crazy. Where did he even rank it? Hold up. Where did he rank it?
Be fun sometimes. Not bad. I'm gonna put it in C tier.
C tier. Oh my gosh. I understand maybe you don't like the beginning portion of the first half of that season, but the second half with the tournament, I figured he would at least like that part. There's so much goodness in there. All right, we'll see. So maybe, I mean, if that arc doesn't make it, and a lot of people agree that that's like the best arc, most people agree, then probably the rest of arc 5 will probably be either D or lower. Wow. Okay. Let's see.
Friendship Cup arc. In this arc, the main characters go to another dimension and they enter a tournament. So we have a tournament arc right after another tournament arc.
Yep.
The only time I've been a fan of this was Battle City after Duelist Kingdom, and that's because they changed so much and then also made everything better. I hate this arc. This is the worst arc.
Well, there you go.
Take it back. Everything.
It's gonna be F tier. Watch.
By the time arc 5 gets to this arc, the tournament format just. Over the course of the whole franchise, maybe I'm just done with it, but this is just a rehash of the Fortune Cup arc from 5Ds. But none of the cool characters are there, none of the cool themes. I mean, it has some of the same themes, but it's basically the same thing with arc 5 characters instead. And the pacing is so bad. It's the
pacing is kind of bad, it's easily to be fair.
I'm going to put it in F tier.
So the synchro arc is F tier. Okay.
This is the arc where they go
I get it.
Another
I like the synchro arc, but I get it.
This time there's no tournament. Thank God. He meets new friends, and he meets new foes, and he uncovers.
So this entire mini section, the Xyz Dimension, is just 12 episodes, or 13 technically. But yeah.
Surrounding the conflict that begun in the first arc. This arc is actually okay, shedding light on the conflict.
Okay, most people say this arc was not that good, but at this point. All right. So far, arc 5 is very low. Very low, the arc, so we'll see.
We went so long without knowing much of anything. The main problem with this arc is that it happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Next up is the Duel Academy.
That's funny.
The final arc of Arc 5.
All right, let's see.
It's a mixed bag, which is funny because I kept saying that about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and this arc takes place in the same place that Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
That's ironic.
But this arc doesn't have nearly as many redeeming qualities as any of the GX arcs. I'm going to put it in C tier. The problem is that there's this concept about
so that's the highest one so far.
Winning people over through it is so entertaining that they become your friend at the end, but it doesn't mesh well with any of the other themes. The other theme is war. I mean, just straight up war.
Yeah, that's true. It really doesn't, because Yu-Gi-Oh's whole purpose of making everyone smile just doesn't work in the midst of like a interdimensional war. Like, it just doesn't really make sense when there's people dying and being killed and kidnapped and tortured. It really doesn't make sense. It just doesn't really, it doesn't work properly. Like, I get the concept of like trying to make everyone smile. That might work after war, after like war's like done, and then like, there's like despair and misery, and you're trying to provide hope for people, and stuff like that, so you want to make them smile. Like, that would make sense. But during war, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, because it's not about joy. Like, no one's like, you're not gonna win it. Realistically, you're not gonna like turn anyone around with joy in the middle of war. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not logical in any type of way, and it just conflicts with itself. It's just weird. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. He'll
with
probably put it in
Yu-Gi-Oh.
C or D.
So I guess it's not real war, but it's just so bad, and the ending is so incredibly lame.
Oh yeah.
Just for that, I'm
F
putting
tier?
it in D tier. You're
D.
demoted.
So the synchro arc is worse than the final arc? I don't know about that one. I don't agree with that. The synchro arc is definitely better. Maybe he just didn't like it because it was a cheap knockoff of 5Ds, but like worse in his opinion. So he just put it in F tier, the synchro arc. But the final arc definitely deserves to be much lower than that, than the synchro arc. But hey, that's just my opinion.
I think you know where I'm going to rank this at the end. But thankfully, we can talk about a good series now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. The first arc of Vrains is the Knights of Hanoi arc. Yusaku Fujiki, the main character.
I feel like he might like this one. I don't think he'll put this in S tier, but I think it'll be pretty high, B or A tier. Just Vrains as a whole. But I don't know. It depends on how he's feeling Yusaku or not. Because I think the themes the themes have to make sense to him. I think the themes in Vrains are pretty strong. Yusaku as a character is a polarizing character, so we'll see how he thinks of it. I can't even tell which way he would go, because he's kind of like a Yusei, but even more emotionless. But there's a lot of elements that weren't explored too. But for the most part, it was a well-written show with what they had, and I don't know where he's gonna put it. I feel like he's it's gonna be a B or A. I don't think he'll put it in S, but maybe he's feeling it. Let's see. I'm curious. Let me see. Is he feeling it?
Battles a hacker group called the Knights of Hanoi, and he's doing so in order to uncover some of the mystery surrounding part of his
The
past
first arc is
and
good.
The creation of a new artificial intelligence. The Vrains debut arc comes out swinging with a story that's nothing short of gripping. Yusaku's battle is compelling, it's full of mystery, doesn't borrow heavily from its predecessors. In fact, it borrows hardly anything, unlike all the other series.
Yeah, it kind of does its own thing completely.
Easily the best soundtrack since Duel Monsters. Duel Monsters is obviously number one. I'm putting the Knights of Hanoi in S tier.
Wow. Okay, so it was pretty high. I was expecting B or A tier, but he put it really high. I mean, the first arc is solid. It's well written. It's very focused. It does its own thing. It feels very different from the other shows, and it is good. Okay, let's see how it goes on, because it kind of dips a little bit maybe and then goes back up, and so we'll see how the rest goes. But all right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's gonna consider this an S tier anime. We'll see. He might. He just might.
Come back to haunt him. Morals are tested, alliances shift, and former foes become allies. I love the way this arc explores the moral gray area surrounding artificial intelligence. With the tables turned on Yusaku as past actions catch up to him, it's smart, intense, and everything in S tier.
S tier, wow.
The final arc of Vrains, I'm just going to call the final arc of Vrains because I'm not sure what else to call it. Yusaku faces off against a former ally as he unravels a plot to end the conflict between humans and AI once and for all. This is the most powerful conclusion in the franchise.
Wow.
Straight up, it's the best.
The whole show made it to S tier. Wow. Next to Zale, the Battle City arc, and the Dark Signer arc. Wow. Hey, I'm not I wasn't a huge fan of Zale for different reasons, but I do acknowledge it is a good show. I just have personal reasons as to why I don't enjoy it, and I can get into that in more detail in a future video if you guys want. Okay, S tier it is. I figured it would be decently high, A or B, but S tier? Okay. All right. I respect that, Enigma. I respect that. I do think it's a great show. My personal feelings versus whether or not it's a great show objectively is two different things. I do think it's a great show objectively, but personal feelings are always involved in that. Anyway, we're almost done. We're about to reach sevens and Go Rush, or just sevens. I think he might just cover sevens because Go Rush is not done yet. We'll see. I doubt sevens will be all that high, although sevens does have a lot of GX vibes with the school and introduce, so it might be B, C tier. we'll see if he's feeling that at all. I don't know. It's always hard, man. Sevens is really good, but you know, Zale was incredible S tier, but you know, a lot of people call it trash. People who haven't watched it really, but whatever.
With unexpected turns and some of the best character development in the series. Spoiling it would be a crime, so I'm not going to go into detail, but trust me when I say it solidifies Vrains as an S tier masterpiece. I'm
all right,
working
I respect
on an in-depth
it.
video about Vrains, so keep an eye out for that. Next up is Yu-Gi-Oh! 1998, also known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0.
Oh, we're doing Season 0.
And the first
Are we going to get into Rush?
School arc. This is technically the first
Oh, he
arc
didn't
in the
cover
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Rush?
Canon. Not everything that happens is canon, but a lot of key
Okay.
events are, such as Yugi's origin with the spirit of the puzzle, how Yugi became friends with Joey, and how Yugi met Kaiba. This might be my favorite arc in the franchise. It follows a Monster of the Week format with a new foe appearing in almost every episode, but it's not just a new enemy. With
It's a
each
very,
new foe
very
comes a new
psycho kind
game.
of show.
This might be the only arc in the entire story where the series lives up to its name, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which translates to King of Games.
Or
For that
Game
reason,
King.
I am putting it in S tier.
Okay.
Next is the Death T arc. Yugi's rivalry with Kaiba finally reaches a head as Kaiba kidnaps Yugi's grandpa, traps him in an amusement park with all of his other friends, and then they have to endure a myriad of trials, or games, in order to rescue Yugi's grandpa. I love this arc too. It's like the school arc, but with more of a story, higher stakes, and I can't stress enough how good
I haven't
the
watched the
ending
Death
is.
T
And if
arc
it seems
or
familiar,
Season
that's
0.
because the
I've watched
first
parts of
episode
it,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
so I
Duel
can't
Monsters
comment
is
too
basically
much
a
on it.
recap of this arc. But
But
Duel Monsters didn't do it
I am
justice.
curious
The
to
summoning
watch
of
it.
Exodia was a lot more impactful in the Death
I watched
T
some of it
version,
on
and
Dylan's
the
stream,
mind
but I didn't
crush
get
that
to
Yugi
finish
used
it.
on Kaiba was actually a big surprise. Prior to this battle, Yugi wasn't sparing any of his enemies, so it signified a drastic change in Yugi going forward, or rather the Pharaoh. I've explained
Yeah.
this in multiple videos already, so I won't go into further detail.
Okay.
Death T
Maybe I'll watch
is an
that.
S tier arc. The last arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! 1998 is
Okay.
Monster World. Yugi and his
Monster
friends
World.
meet a new exchange student named Bakura who possesses a Millennium item.
Okay.
Yugi and his friends go to Bakura's house after school, and they're all trapped inside of a board game. This arc is okay. I'm not the biggest fan, even though I do like the concept. It's very similar to the Millennium World arc at the end of Duel Monsters, which I'm also not a fan of. Although I do think it is a bit better here. Monster World is going into B tier.
Okay.
And that concludes my Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc tier list. Now we can finally talk about my ranking, where I rank the series in order from best to worst.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously, we already know Zale and Arc 5 made it all. Sorry, not Arc 5. Whoa. Oh. And the Vrains made it to the top. So they're obviously staying there in S tier. It looks like, let's see, we have one GX here in A tier. We have a GX in B tier. The rest is low. So I could see probably GX is going to end up in B tier. DM, he has 2 solid arcs for DM at the top. So, GX is okay. It's also in, so there's 2 in A and then 1 in B. So I could see it staying in B or jumping up to A, but probably high B. And then obviously we have Season 0, which looks like it's going to be like A tier. So Season 0 I'll put in A tier based on what he has here. Arc 5 and Zale are going to stay in S tier. They're not being touched. I think overall, maybe Duel Monsters as a whole, like these 2 arcs are good, but then everything else is kind of, I think it'll go in either A or B. I think Duel Monsters will go in either A or B. So I'm actually going to write it down. I'm going to try to guess how it's all going to play out. So yeah, S tier is going to be Zale and obviously Vrains, as we can see that. And does any of them other than that make S tier? I guess Season 0 would go S tier from the looks of it, right? Or maybe A tier. That might go to A tier. So yeah, let's do A tier. A tier will be so for GX, I see that going to like B tier, B to A for GX. And then for 5Ds, from the looks of this, honestly, wow, 5Ds is going to be pretty low because really the first arc is the only arc that he liked. That and the Dark Signer arc. And then after that, the second half was so garbage for him. So because of how garbage the second half is, I think maybe 5Ds will just end up in B tier. Because actually, 5Ds didn't even make it to S or A in any of them, right? No, except the Dark Signer arc. That did make it. But other than that, and then the Fortune Cup is in A. So yeah, I think it's gonna land. 5Ds is gonna land in B tier, just based on how all this looks. 5Ds is gonna land there. Sorry, 5Ds is in B tier. What am I doing? I'm writing this completely wrong. And then we have Zale. That's already there. Arc 5. Whew, yikes. Okay, that's probably gonna be in D tier. So I think D tier is gonna be Arc 5. Just as a whole, sadly, but I get it. And then F tier. So two are in D tier for Duel Monsters there. So did I put DM on this list? So I think DM is gonna probably be like C tier. I think C tier is gonna be like DM, or maybe it'll make it to C tier. Yeah, no, C tier, or maybe it'll barely make it to B tier. I don't know. I think DM is gonna land in B tier, from the looks of it, because there's 3 solid arcs from there, and then the rest are kind of trash. I'm gonna put DM in B tier. Based on his list. And then Arc 5 is in D, if not F, sadly. And then I think that covers everything, right? Yeah. All right, so let's see if I'm right.
We have Brains because, I mean, it's my favorite one. Zexal was a close second, seeing as I put all arcs across both
Zale and Brains, obvious. That was obvious. That's not... I deserve no respect for that. Like, literally all the arcs were in S tier. But yeah, that one's obvious.
But Brains is a bit better because I think it tackles more interesting concepts. There's also the fact that
he thinks Brains is better than Zale. Okay, that's I would go the opposite way, but that's fine. He likes Brains more. I respect that. But Zale's still S tier quality right there.
Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
So it doesn't look like he
extremely similar to the original.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's comparing it. You know, he's doing the tiers. Looks like he's just going in order from highest to least. So, okay, that's fine.
Zero is incredible.
Season 0.
Its main issue is the fact that it ended too soon.
So I did put Season 0 in S tier. So that makes sense. I got that right. Duel Monsters is below that. And DM I put in B tier. So DM I put in B tier with 5Ds. So I guess it made it higher than 5Ds. So I was wrong there.
Knocks it down quite a bit. GX has some really great moments.
Okay.
Some of the story arcs start off really strong or end really strong, but it has so many flaws. 5D it's the same issue.
Okay, interesting.
But the highs are higher and the lows are so much lower. Below GX is Arc 5, and I don't have a lot to say about this other than it's terrible, it's lame, it's boring. The story isn't good enough to warrant watching all the way to the end when you finally get everything explained. It's genuinely worth skipping altogether. At the bottom are 7s and Go Rush. Now I should probably...
Hold up. Wait a minute. So we're at the end of the video here and you're just going to mention them at the very freaking end? Okay, 2020. Okay.
That's the reason I didn't include them in my Arc tier list. And that's because...
The Arc Files. Okay, 2025. All right, he's going to cover it in 2025. Okay, never mind. All right, we're good. He's going to respect the other series as Yu-Gi-Oh! And he'll compare them separately because it kind of makes sense. It kind of goes completely way off to its own thing. And, you know, it's just, I get it. It started a new era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Completely. So it makes sense that he's going to cut that at the very end. So based on this list, I was mostly right. Arc 5 is lowest. And then I put kind of 5Ds and DM kind of together, but it seems like 5Ds was much lower. So I was right. I was wrong with 5Ds. I thought it would go a little higher, but It's literally second worst to him, which is crazy because everyone loves 5Ds, but maybe they're just thinking of the first half of 5Ds more, so they forget about the second half and just rank it as a whole. I like that he separated it into arcs, so that way he could get a better scoring overall. I thought that was very smart. Very helpful, because sometimes, you know, you just have this whole series and then you have, compared to everything else, it's just like, how do you break it all apart? Breaking it apart in arcs is very smart. And it allows you to like just focus individually how each rank, and then you add it all up. And I think that's smart. So yeah, Zale and Vrains in season 0 are the top 3 for him. Then goes Duel Monsters in 4th place. In 5th place is GX, and 5Ds is in 6th place, and Arc 5 is the lowest. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's the list right there. I've rambled on long enough. I gave my different thoughts here and there. I didn't have much thoughts on season 0 because I haven't watched it all in full and really analyzed and sat down with it, so I need to do that at some point. But yeah, Zale and Vrains made it to number 1. I respect that. I would put Zale as number 1, and I'm glad that he respects Zale, which I knew that from his, you know, previous video. He really respects Zale a lot. And it is a rehash of Duel Monsters, but done better. So it does it so much better, guys. Oof, I love Zale so much. But anyway, that is the video. That is Enigma's ranking, guys. Go subscribe to him if you like that video, and if you like my thoughts and analysis on the video. This is a pretty long one, but yeah, you know, I wanted to give my thoughts. I'll try to make shorter ones in the future, but this was my first reaction, so let me know what you guys think. Just listen to this in a podcast. Don't be afraid to just listen to this in a podcast while you're working, or while you're, you know, editing stuff or whatever. Like, just listen to it in the background because it's long. But that is my video, guys, talking about Enigmas. I watched every Yu-Gi-Oh series. I thought it was good. Some surprising stuff in there. I did not expect 5Ds to be so low. I kind of expected R5 to be low, but I didn't know how low. Duel Monsters ended up higher than I thought, but it makes sense. But Vrains, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised about Vrains. But Zale and Vrains being together, I guess kind of makes sense when you think about it. But yeah, anyway, that's it. That's my very first reaction. Let me know what you guys think. I rambled on a lot, but that's good because that's the point. I'm supposed to share my thoughts, see if I agree or disagree with him. I wish he got into more detail with Zale, but he couldn't. But he does in other videos, so that's perfectly fine. Anyway, God bless you guys. I will see you guys in the next reaction video, whatever it is I do on this channel. Gotcha. Peace. See you guys. I'll talk to you later.